Hi, this is Kimberly Whitman with Heart of the Bride Ministries. The mandate for Heart of the Bride is to release the full expression of the heart of Yahweh. The recording you're about to watch is our Wednesday evening roundtable where we have invited different mature sons to release their piece of the puzzle that brings a fuller sound of our Heavenly Father's heartbeat. Be sure to stay to the end of the video to learn more about Heart of the Bride. Now, enjoy as you engage. Well, I am just ecstatic with everyone that is here. And I just welcome all of you. Those of you that have not been with us before, I'm thrilled that you've joined us. And Heart of the Bride, we are just so excited to have our friend Helen Tate. I actually met Helen through Global Ascension Network, Nancy Cohen's ministry. And I just loved her from the moment I met her. She is so authentic and hilarious. Talk about a sense of humor. Oh my gosh, I just love her sense of humor. I was so blessed with the quantum shifts that we did, Helen taught, and it just honestly blew me away with the things that she spoke of, specifically about holograms. And I just, the way that hit me in that moment just shifted something in my being. And so I am honestly elated and honored to have Helen sharing tonight that she said yes to do this and come and participate with us here at Heart of the Bride. And she really is just such a blessing. And honestly, just the voice of God in a way that is so fresh and real and authentic. And it blesses my heart to know you, Helen, and call you friend. So without further ado, you are free, Helen, to share whatever the Lord has put on your heart to share, to say whatever he has said to say. And we trust you, and you have the floor. So go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Kim. All the things that you said are just go double right back at you, just completely and totally. Not only did I fall in love with you during the Quantum Shift series that we shared together, but with your mom and dad. I don't know if your mom's here, but I know your dad is here. And I got to know them because we worked book table together, and then you work together and then you play together, and it's just so great. And then met sister. Sister is Tamara. If you see her on here, we saw hi there, sister. I just thought it was the cutest thing in the whole world when sisters called each other sister. And then I saw it on a movie and I thought, they stole your term. They really. And there are very few times where you meet somebody that you really want to you just want them to move next door. That's it. That's all. And the integrity of a whole family, and a whole family that's so in love and has clearly walked together is amazing, and it's rare. It's in this day and age, it's really rare. And I really want to honor you, Kim, and your whole family, because you guys have blessed me in so many ways in our conversations and sharing. I know where I want to start here tonight, but it's been so fun seeing some people. I wanted to say hi to Steve, and I thought, are you here to make trouble, Steve? He's my brother. We have a lot of fun together. He and Maggie are, again, just so special in both Ed and our hearts. Greg Ordway, I don't see you. But you said something right beginning of this year. You posted it on one of the chats, and I ran with it. I first of all ran with it in my heart. And what Greg said was, this is the year of the open door. And then he gave an analogy to that about, or he called it a confirmation, that he got into his car and then the car door wouldn't close. So that was his confirmation that it was indeed the year of the open door. And I read that and I thought, it's not the year of the open door. I haven't seen that anywhere. There's no Chinese symbols or, uh, Jewish, name it and whatever. And I thought,
Right.
no, we don't need any of that. We need to declare it, capture it in our heart. And, and Greg, when you did that, I saw it, I captured it in my heart. I wrote it down. This is the year of the open door. That's it. That's all, the end. And it was just so good. So thank you for doing that. Thank you. That was really awesome. And thank you all for joining us tonight. This is a history making day, as you know, for you in the United States. The president will be speaking soon, and I have followed, as have many online here, the things that are going on in the US. And I believe I can say with all our heart that we are so with you and so attached to what's going on for God's best, but for the best for the world. As Canadians, we are close in so many ways. We share a border, but we share the heart of the Lord, for the goodness of the Lord to be in the White House. And enough said. When I was, we have a group. It's called the River 474. But what we are is a home group. We're a home group that are a bunch of really fun people who laugh a lot and get together and eat too much, and we have a really, really good time. And Kim, we have been going. Ed and I have been doing home groups for 27 years, since we were married, on Tuesday nights, and things shift as you learn more, you share more, and people come and go and change, and it's been probably the most fun for us, just sharing our lives like that. And every year I would do a school of the supernatural in one way or the other, and we would have speakers, or I would do the teaching to share with people where the Lord has taken me, and what I don't ever teach something that I'm not living, that isn't a reality in my life. And if you knew some of the stuff that I'm exploring right now, you might want to have seatbelts, because he is moving very fast in ways that yeah, seriously, we are on a ride, and it's very exciting. So what our group is going to do, we're going to make a little shift this year, because Heart of the Bride has influenced me so much. Kim contacted me when Jason Crook was teaching, and he's just a special young man in my heart, and I didn't want to miss it, and she must have known that. And so I've been joining you guys ever since, because I have so loved the format. I have loved hearing the voices. Everyone comes with a special gift, with not different relationships, because they're love relationships with the Lord, but they come with experiences with him that are so real and so authentic that it starts changing us in a way that School of the Supernatural or another conference or all of that, which is good and it has its place, but it has just shifted. So many people are on here tonight because from the River 474, because we're going to change to your format for a few months. We're going to Heart of the Bride on Tuesday nights, and use that just that way. And I really wanted people to experience how that works, and in particular experience how gracefully and graciously you moderate and lead and guide this whole thing. I may have to turn that over to somebody who can do it as well as you, because it's amazing. But we're going to do that, and but we're going to do a little differently in that we're going to do 2 weeks And then we're going to do Ascension time because it's something we really love to do together. And that we, when we join together in Ascension, we really have an amazing time with the Lord. So we're going to do that little bit of a weaving, but you've influenced this person a lot, and it's going to keep on going. So we're sort of sisters there, Kim. Thank you.
Yes, we are on so many levels. That
Yeah.
blesses my heart so much, Helen.
Well, you've been an amazing influence, and just love how you so gracefully and graciously receive people into your heart. Your heart is so good. If there was anything that I wanted to share, and I am going to put it, I have put it in a PowerPoint, so you'll be seeing me just in a little corner of your screen. We did test it. We're hoping it works. Is probably the fundamental truth that I have received in the last, I'm going to say 2 years, because I taught it first. We had Mike Parsons a couple of years ago in Winnipeg and shared with folks then. And it has been something that has shifted my life into a greater love with the Lord, and a greater peace and a greater understanding than anything. And it's the simplest thing that you'll ever learn. And for some of you, you know what it is that it is. And but if you start this year doing what I'm sharing, if this touches your heart, then I really, really would encourage you. And we're going to go on there. But I want to share a little bit because we don't know each other that well online. It's kind of fun to get to know people as we go. And it's not because I think the history of my life is that important. I just want to share how some things in our life that appear really little at times influence really greatly where we end up today. And they're really, really quite simple. So do you want to join me on that? Oops, what did I just do? I'm going to do a share screen. Wrong go. Okay, that's not it. Take that out. Can you see that there now, Kim?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, we did practice.
We did.
So why is that not going on there? All right. Okay, I'm going to start again. Okay, share.
Here
is
it
that
is.
okay?
Yep.
Okay. This I just like to start with because I love the image. It's a girl standing out on a lake, and it could be at our summer home on the Lake of the Woods. And it says, "One day I will walk out on the water to the middle of the lake. I will stand, I will smile, and I will worship." You know, if you don't believe don't stretch your faith to what is considered impossible, you'll never get there. And I believe someday. I actually practice all the time. It's easy now when the water's frozen, but a little more difficult so far. But in Acts 17:26, it says, it made from every man, every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined their appointed times, their boundaries, and of their habitation. From one source, God himself has chosen the period of time that you would be here, the exact country, province, state, city, community, even the address that you're to live. You're not where you are by accident. He knew the parents that you were born to, your circumstances, every detail, and it's for a purpose, a destiny that he has for your life. You are the technology for life's miracles, wherever you are. Whoops. 1952, I came with my family from Norway to Canada. And you might say that's not a Canadian flag, but in 1952 it was. So this is when we came in. The preamble to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms says, whereas Canada is founded upon the principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. My father was in the commando in Norway during World War II, fought for his country, and Norway was occupied by Nazi Germany. When war was over, he chose Canada, and he said to us, we are choosing a country. We are not going to go there and be Norwegian Canadians. We are going to there to serve Canada. And he really believed that this was the land for us. 5 years after applying for citizenship, my parents took an oath and were given this book by our new country. That is not happening today. New immigrants don't have to wait 5 years, and they don't get a Bible. February 15th, 1965, we did get a flag. And my dad, I was in Norway at the time working, and I wish I had kept my dad's letter, how proud he was that his new nation had its own flag. So we also, as a family, were on a journey of faith because my parents lived a life of love and family, and it was one of faith in God. I had great growing up years. This is a picture, a cartoon. The guy is saying there are plenty of seats further up front. What I looked for was a picture of a family sitting in a back row. That would have been our family in church. We went to church every Sunday. We sat in the back row. And the reason we sat on the back row is because we also sat in our ski suits, and that back row was only an hour away from being on the slopes. That was how we spent our Sundays. We were in a high Anglican church, and everybody was in hats and gloves. We were in ski clothes, and our minister at that time went to my dad and said, Jack, I don't care what you're wearing, you're welcome to be here. So we loved that time. Anglican Church, Book of Common Prayer, sang in the choir. Confirmation was called the laying on of hands. It was a very traditional upbringing. Now I married and was blessed with 4 children within 5 years. In that time, when the children were born, I was in a book club, and there were 6 people in the book club, and it was very relaxed and really a fun group, and we all chose one book a month. And one of the ladies in the group, we were young girls at the time, said, I want to be the last book. And so the last book was called The Late Great Planet Earth. So after fun, silly, sexy novels, this young club was reading Great Late Planet Earth and all about the book of Revelation. What the heck, right? So, but anyway, she went through the months with us. We all dedicated that month to that book. At the end of reading that and our book club, it was the most amazing thing. Every single person was affected by reading that. So if you want to look for a way to get people interested, start a book club. And the way that, the way that I got born again was probably the goofiest you've ever seen. I was standing at the phone. The phone at that time was attached to the wall, not like we have now in our hands. And I'm standing talking to one of my friends, and I said, you know that stuff in the book? I'm going to go for it. That was my born again experience. And now that didn't fit any church model, but I didn't have a church model for it. I just knew that there was something in my heart that drew me to God, and it just happened to be that book. And then the charismatic renewal hit. Do you speak in tongues? And it was one of the greatest fun times, but it was one of the most divisive times too, because there were the haves and the have-nots. Some of those, you had the Spirit, you didn't have the Spirit. It was goofy. It was just goofy. But without and it was a Catholic charismatic renewal, and without those blessed Catholics, this would never have happened. It was really wonderful. But again, life went on. And then we went into the Word of Faith movement. And I'm an all or nothing gal. So when I get interested in something, I give it 150%, and I read and listen to everything in sight. So the Word of Faith movement, there was Copeland and Hagen and a whole bunch of names that you probably are all too young to know. But this was a movement, and it was dedicated to really showing us the importance of the Word of God and reading your Bible. And at one time, Kenneth Copeland said that God is more pleased that if you would use your faith than your money, even if it was for socks. So I went, okay, I'll take that challenge. And he talked about, working your faith muscle and that. So that's what I did. I believed God for a pair of men's socks. And I believed for 6 months, every day I would thank God for these socks. And it just went on. And it was the silliest thing, because it was just between me and God. I didn't share it with anybody. So one day I went into my husband's office. He is a dentist, and his receptionist was there, and it was Christmas time. And she handed me a little package, and we knew each other very well. And I actually had led her to the Lord at a dinner party one time. Anyway, so I brought this home, and I opened it up, and I'll never ever forget this. And in this package was a pair of men's socks and a $10 bill and a note. The note said, "Helen, God told me to tell you to stop believing for socks and $10 bills." Now, I'm always believing for money, but I didn't particularly have that on it. But that's what she said. Stop believing for socks and $10 bills. For the little stuff, go for the big stuff. Now, if you don't think that little thing, after 6 months of believing for socks, rocked my world. And I realized in that moment that I had connected in a personal way that I never could have imagined, and that nothing was impossible. If God thought enough of my faith and the little of it that it was, and for the silliness of this whole thing, if he would honor me so much, nothing is impossible. It changed me. That little silly thing just changed me. In that word, started with a Word of Faith church at that time as well, women's ministry. And because I love to share what's going on in my life, I developed and taught an introductory series for women. Actually, it could be for anybody, because we were talking about being born again, baptized in the Holy Spirit. We talked about just the basic tenets of the Christian faith and healing, tithing, and all of those things. We started with 5 women in this house. In 6 weeks, there were 52 women that came to that meeting. And in that meeting, what happened was I taught on healing, because we're so Word of Faith and believing and excited, and then the nothing is impossible. One of the girls in the meeting, I said, would anyone like us to just pray for healing? And she said, "I'm on my way to the doctor." And she stood up, and her one leg was 2 inches shorter than the other, and her pants looked even. She said, "My mother," and her mother was there too, she was going to the doctor with her. She said, "My mother has hemmed my pants 2 inches shorter on one side all my life." And she had scoliosis of the spine that was connected to this affliction. So we had her sit in a chair. We believed for her legs to grow out, for her spine to lengthen or to straighten out. And the next week when she came in after seeing her doctor, she walked in with the same pair of pants that she had on, now looking very silly because both legs had grown out straight and her spine was straight. And she's a good friend today. It was amazing. And though, and there was a section in the room at the time that said, they called the meeting presumptuous. You can't tell God what to do, et cetera, et cetera. And God just came through and blessed that woman and blessed the whole meeting. Anyway, in that time, I partnered with a friend, Giselle Fontaine. She's actually on this call too. I should have asked you, Giselle, if I can talk about you. But Giselle was a nurse, is a nurse, and she and I wrote a book together and put together supernatural childbirth classes. And we were really, really ahead of the curve at that time because there was nothing out there. This was, Giselle would know, I'm going to say 40 years ago, that we did this. And we had just amazing time in this time. Giselle went on to become a midwife, and today I've joked with her, should we redo this book, because as you can see, it looks like it belongs in the 60s. But we just had a great time, and Giselle is just the ultimate midwife. She pioneered midwifery in Manitoba. I went on the other hand, I found this. Life is a series of thousands of tiny miracles. And then I put, and a bunch of other things that happen to influence us along the way, because that really is life, isn't it? We go from the miraculous to a whole bunch of little things like I'm sharing with you now. For about 10 years, I was president of rhythmic sportive gymnastics and represented Canada. And I'm sharing this not because that was such an amazing feat, but it was an honor and it was a pleasure to do. And I traveled, literally traveled the world in a wonderful opportunities. One of those opportunities was the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. You say, what has that got to do with being spiritual, Helen? Well, not much, because on that I had the privilege of walking into this stadium, and I was one of the dots on the floor there. It was really an outstanding experience, and I was chef de mission for the games for Canada, and just by fluke had the opportunity to walk in with all the gymnasts or with all the athletes from Canada. One of the things there as we're standing, we weren't told at this time, was they put this flag over all of us on the field. You can see the top of it with the Olympic rings there. But what happened was underneath, you can see the thousands of people underneath. It was completely and totally dead silence, like crazy silence. And I stood there in this throng of people, and you couldn't see anything. And I went, God, is this oneness? I had the sense of we are all one in him. I had that amazing reality. Like I can feel it today, what it feels like to be one heart, one nation, just that oneness, and how powerful that is. And it was an object lesson for me. And then of course, as young people do, they started poking up in the flag, and that went away. But after that, what happened was there's a guy standing there with a flaming arrow pointed at the direction of the cauldron, which was at one end of the stadium, and lit the torch. It was an exciting time. The crowd went wild. And I thought, wow, that was brilliant. That's like a miracle, until I talked to one of the guys that was on the Olympic organizing committee for this. And I said, that guy was crazy. He hit it dead on. And she said, Helen, that flame would have ignited if you'd thrown a tennis ball at the base of it. And I went, oh no, it was all set up. Anyway, they let the games begin. Here's something I learned. The dream team was there. Now, I'm not speaking against the United States of America, the USA uniforms. What I had a lot of trouble with was celebrity culture. Celebrity culture did not fit into the Olympics. Certainly not. I've been involved for a couple of quadrennials there, and it was all about amateur sports. So you got all these professionals come together. Now, I had the privilege of watching them play, and they are brilliant. You couldn't be matched. It was like watching a bunch of guys having crazy fun and watching them play with 2-year-olds. They had all the moves. But not only were professionals, they took themselves out of the village. They didn't like to be with other athletes, and they stayed in a hotel. And I thought, no, let's be the best. You guys, if I saw your face, I'd say you were the best. But you know what? Celebrity culture doesn't serve us. And here's something, the two things that I saw were the dream team play, and then I went to see athletics. Meet Derek Redmond. And many of you might know who this young man is. He was a sprinter. He's from the UK. And during the 400-meter semifinal in August in 92, he started off strong. And then you can see this picture here where his right foot is going back. He he tore as his hamstring. When that happened, there's a man over here that says, have you hugged your foot today? He's a Nike commercial coming on, breaking all the rules, ran out to see this young boy lying on the ground. That was his son. That was the end of that race for him. Until his father picked him up in his pain, and his father walked him to finish the race. I will never, ever forget that, watching a father and a son, the son completely in peace, and the dad picking him up and holding him, virtually carrying him as he hobbled to the finish line to finish the race. Are there more stories? There are lots of stories like this. They all define our lives, all the little that happen with us and to us. And tragically, after 25-year marriage, 4 kids, my husband died suddenly. My life changed drastically, but by his grace, he had a plan. God came alongside, he picked me up. And in 1994, Ed came into my life. We married, and as you can see in the picture, he inherited some children. They were not babies. These were young adults. They were not excited about me getting married again. They're very protective of me. So I lined them up and I said, listen, guys, you had a great dad. He was awesome. I am not marrying Ed because you need a father. I'm marrying him for me because I love him. Then I took Ed aside and I said, okay, Ed, sorry about the kids, but it's sort of a package deal here. And I'm not going to step in, try to figure out how you and they will get along. You figure it out, and everything went from there. It was amazing. He's their bonus dad, and it's been a great time. Over the next 27 years, Ed and I have hosted and shared what we've been learning with friends. A Tuesday night home group began And we have seen God's amazing grace through the miraculous over and over. I have stories actually of Tuesday night home group where Holy Spirit has come in and people are unable to move at the beginning with our young adults. But in our personal life, we have seen crazy miracles. Ed had severed his finger in an accident. He was repairing a shed, and it just flew where his finger was completely severed at the second knuckle. Pain, you can imagine. And we came to a place where the doctors said there is nothing we can do but to amputate, because there isn't enough skin to do surgery for you. And Ed came home and he said, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, we have a choice. We can believe God, or we can believe the doctors. And Ed chose to believe God over the doctors. It was a painful thing for him to do, but I don't think there's anything he's happier that ask him about it sometime. He'll tell you the full story. That finger not only healed over, but the Lord grew the finger back, nail and all. On our wedding, it was the rainiest day ever. It made Noah's rain look like a cartoon. It was crazy. We did not have, we were getting married at the cottage on the dock. We had 85 people coming for sit-down dinner, all outside, all ready to go. This rain was torrential. And again, Ed, because he's too much fun for words, decided we were going to get married at 3:33. That was on the invitation. He just likes to do things like that. 3:33, not 3:30, 3:33. So at 3:15, he comes to me, and we've got 85 people milling around in the cottage and about. And he comes and he says, so are we still in agreement? The rain is torrential. I said that already. What happened was, and I said, yes, we're in agreement. It's not 3:33. At 3:30, we walked outside to the most clear, no rain sky. It was just miraculous. Our wedding continued. Everyone got seated, dinner, everything. And it was the most amazing, amazing thing. We have stood at the cottage on the deck and watched storms and tornadoes come in twice, pointed to them, and watched the tornado divide and miss our property. You could see the trees, 100-year-old trees cracking and falling on each side, but it didn't come near us. We've seen gemstones, gold dust, lots of crazy, crazy things. And then in 2012, we learned to step in and step out. We went to a conference that Ian Clayton, Justin Abrams, Sam and Grant Mahoney, the whole team was there. And Ian Clayton, for the first time, we heard talk and tell us about stepping in and stepping out. I know probably everybody on this call has experience with that term, but what he was referring to is learning to ascend, learning to step in dimensionally into what we would call heaven now. I don't call it heaven. I call it a dimensional stepping in and stepping out. But that was the first time, and it started us in a whole shift in our walk. Ed comes from a Mennonite background, very, very loving family and very solid in his faith. And like I said, I came came out of the back row of a church and on the ski slope. So we were in a brand new time here. And it started an exploration of many new subjects. Ian Clayton's Cleansing the Gateways, Spirit, Soul, and Body, Order of Melchizedek, that's spelt wrong. The Freedom book with Sam and Grant Mahoney. Mike Parsons, Engaging God, Courts of Heaven, Mobile Court, Seven Spirits of God, Jonathan Caban's Lie Busters. There's so many subjects out there, and we dove into all of them, and then we shared it with others. Then we continue to share with others. At that time, I wrote Emma's Corner, Jacob's Ladder, Heaven's Court over those years as well. The reason for Jacob's Ladder and Heaven's Court is because I wanted now for the we were learning so much and bringing us into this personal relationship with God. I wanted the next generations to be able to dive into that as well. Imagine, I wished that we could turn back the clock and I had a 5-year-old instead of a 50-year-old to share about ascension. That's what Jacob's Ladder is about. It takes a very childlike illustration about going up Jacob's ladder and spending time dimensionally in heaven with the Lord. Heaven's Court is the same, teaching young people. And what happens is when adults read young people's book, they get it too. It's quite fun. Then along came Nancy Cohen, Limitless. A recording was handed to me and I went, okay, just when I thought I understood a few things, here's this new challenge. And what happened then was I was challenged by what I believe is the key to manifesting God in our life. Because when I read about Nancy, I thought, you know what? If Nancy has all those experiences, I don't want her experiences. I really don't want some of them, but I do want to understand how to live in that amazing place of love, that you aren't rattled, you aren't shaken, and that there are amazing results. And I don't think there's ever been a year that starting in this year, the 2021, that issue isn't the most important in our life, to be able to walk in love. And I used to pursue things by getting more information and searching for those answers and getting what. But then I started asking how. And that's been my motive, my motive of learning now, is asking how. How do I activate my life? What do I need to know about the how, so that I can actually start manifesting the things that we are called to do? And I believe the answer is love. I asked the question, how can I love like you do? When you look at the Lord's life, look at the amazing things that he was able to do. And he did everything out of love, whether it was, healing the sick, out of love, he cleansed the money changers out of the temple. Everything he did was out of love. And I learned what I think is how, what we think and how we feel matters, and actually that it has a scientific, measurable effect. So my pursuit started a deep dive into science and spirituality. And before everybody gets scared, science and spirituality aren't at odds with one another. Science is actually giving us the how-tos of many of the things that we have read about in the Bible and have wondered how. Nikola Tesla, he says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Albert Einstein, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Wow. Everything is energy. Your thought begins it, your emotion amplifies it, and your action increases the momentum. The only way we can change our lives is to change our energy, to change the electromagnetic field we are constantly broadcasting. In other words, to change our state of being, we have to change how we think and how we feel. That's from Joe Dispenza, and he's a neuroscientist and chiropractor by profession. The deep dive into the hows, I realized there has to be a change. And when I realized the change had to be me, it couldn't just be something that I learned out there that was going to come and fix me. I had to learn that there was something within me that needed the changing. And you have the power to change your thoughts, and your thoughts have the power to change your life. Well, that's a great statement, but it's a lot easier said than done at times. But it's the power of our thoughts and our emotions when they create a feeling generated in our heart that an electromagnetic charge then goes out and actually creates the end result. Now that statement is a mouthful. And next week, I know we're not finished here, but next week, we're going to unpack that in a way that you are going to be able to walk and see your life, not only your life change, but create the end results that you have been believing for in your life. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issue of life. Who knew that these words in Proverbs actually have scientific merit? We know our brain is powerful, but the heart is actually the strongest electromagnetic field in our bodies, and it is stronger than our brain. The heart is about 100,000 times stronger electrically and 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. Our heart's pretty important. This illustration here is from Heart Math Institute, and what it shows is how your heart generates an electromagnetic field around you that reaches out extensively past your body. I was going to give you a number of how much, like 3 meters, 10 meters, but the latest that I'm reading about this is that this actually can be infinite into the world around us and further. The electromagnetic field of our bodies, however, is measurable. And science has actually shown us this by geostationary operational environmental satellites. They are going around the Earth all the time, measuring the electromagnetic field of the Earth. You see, we are made the same way. We're made of the Earth. Now, what do you see when you look at this picture? That was something that's frozen in time for so many of us. First of all, you can't believe that it's happening or what is happening. Then the reality of it was actually a measurable effect that showed up because fear has a measurable effect. And it was seen on graphs that were measuring this electromagnetic field that on this diagram, it actually shows before and then after the buildings were struck, how incredible the electromagnetic field changed at that time. What changed it? People did. The people, the electromagnetic field that was sent through people changed the electromagnetic field on this earth. This powerful and invisible effect has been documented dozens of times in research studies and is actually known as the super radiance effect. So in 1980, during the Lebanese-Israeli war, there was a Lebanon peace project that involved a practice group meditating together in Jerusalem. Now, This group was not a church Christian group. These were people that they knew how to meditate and allow their bodies to come into coherence and into a peaceful state. Although the numbers in the group fluctuated, it was often large enough to achieve super radiance effect for both Israel and nearby Lebanon. This group, meditating and projecting love and peace outwards, affected the nations. During the peace project, the statistics showed an improved quality of national life that could be measured by the war intensity in Lebanon. There were reduced wars deaths by 76% on days when there was a high participation in the meditating group. The newspaper content analysis, there was analysis of the national mood in Israel. Tel Aviv stock market index was affected. Automobile accident rates went down. Number of fires in Jerusalem went down. Maximum temperature, yes, even the weather was affected. That's how powerful it is when people, just human beings, can come to a place of peace, compassion, and gratitude and allow that to extend out their bodies. The effect is spontaneous, immediate, and systematic. Furthermore, it does not rely on any form of social, political, or diplomatic interaction between the meditating group and the affected community. The influence is created by just a small group of these meditators, equivalent to a tiny fraction of the number in the rest of the population. Every human being is the power to create, heal yourself, love, and bring about peace. It's in every one of us. When we learn how to produce the feeling in our heart that agrees with the mind of God in our body, we will begin to effectively change our world, but it only works if you will do what it takes to make it happen. If our human heart collective during certain emotional times can be measured by satellites, when we come together, we can actually affect the world. One of the reasons I wanted to share this particular activation and this study was because we on this call have come together. We've just taken communion together in the name of our God, our Lord Jesus Christ. We've come together in a certain emotional level, spiritual level. And if we can actually understand that there is also a science behind how we can measure what happens with us when we collectively come as one and in that unity, we will be able to, and there is an answer, and we can affect the world. We can be the change agent. The square root of this is the measurable effects from the studies of Heart Math Institute, the scientific studies, that 0.1% of a population can markedly and now scientifically have measurable effect on thousands of people. In a city of 1 million, it's only 100 people coming together can be effective. In a world of 6 billion, 8,000 people. Right now, there are people that are doing this, coming together to release love, to release compassion, to release peace, and are working from their hearts because they're working with them, with what they know to achieve this. And it's called heart-brain coherence. If you want to learn more about it, the Institute of Heart Math is where you'll get a lot of information. But I'm going to take you Uh, okay, scientists have done experiments with the very substance that we are made of that show when our heart and brain are in coherence, we can actually change matter. That we're going to head into next week. We can cure diseases in our body, change weather patterns, and live longer. You are the technology that only in a few minutes you can get to the place where your heart frequency is about that zero point 0.1 hertz and is the optimum resting place for your heart to release compassion and love. Do you know that we are very ineffective in our prayers if our prayers are not from our heart, then released by compassion and love? We used to call it just mental assent, and it's not a bad thing to be just thinking and blessing with our mind. But the most powerful place we can be is to that optimum resting place in our heart to release love. Your heart does not operate in ego or judgment. The heart operates through the creative field of compassion, thanksgiving, love, and gratitude. Since emotional processes can work faster than the mind, it takes a power stronger than the mind to bend perception, override emotional circuitry, and it provides us with the intuitive feeling instead. It takes the power of the heart. That's from the founder of the Institute of Heart Math. What if I said to you that there is a power and that this is the power within you that can heal disease, that can trigger your brain to produce the hormones that are needed for your body health, that can heighten your feeling of well-being, that can have a greater capacity to operate in compassion and love, that can eliminate stress, create matter, boost and activate your autoimmune system, that will release anti-aging hormones, that will bring you into a place of peace, that will give you access to your subconscious for affirmations, for subconscious learning, will give you access to super learning, super memory, super cognition, super reliance, resilience, give you access to deep intuition and to an intelligence that's in your heart. It will improve your heart rate, lower blood pressure, and trigger over 1,300 positive biochemical reactions and much more. The research shows that when we establish heart-brain coherence over time, your body will reset any emotional imbalance that includes fear, depression, anxiety, stress, impatience, frustration, etc. And it begins to create a peaceful balance within. And I know in the conversation before the meeting began here that somebody said that it's very frustrating to watch all the process that's going on right now politically and globally with so much around us. The reason I think that this opportunity is so important to learn is that all of the simple thing that we're going to learn together tonight will reset our emotional and balance if there is any. That fear, depression, anxiety, stress, impatience, frustration, etc. We need to live, work, and have our being in Him in perfect, peaceful balance. And it's not easy, but it can be done. It can be done. The more you practice, the more you're able to regulate your inner world of thoughts and feelings, regardless of the conditions in your outer environment, because you are that technology. If the electromagnetic field is measurable, then can we actually participate to control or direct the power? And the answer is yes. So how? It's my favorite question these days. It's by coherence, which means that the quality of being logical and consistent, or the quality of forming a unified whole. That's what we want to have in our being, is that unifying heart and brain, so that we aren't being run by our thinking, but we live out of our heart and out of that love. We need to connect the heart and the brain, and it's called heart brain coherence. You know, and they have to come together. They work together. They working independently does not achieve the power that we have to be that technology to release the love in our world. Our heart is important. The power of the heart, your heart doesn't judge. Do you know that your heart is created so that you have a place that you sit and where I believe where God sits with you. It's not just your heart that's beating, but the essence of that. Our heart doesn't judge. And you know, there's a scripture that says that don't judge. As you measure and judge, it will be measured back to you. It's that kind of judgment. It's really important that we can operate in our world and love the situations that come our way, not just judge them. And our heart has no ego. If you find yourself saying, comparing the, you know, yourself as being better or more than other people, then that's your ego getting in the way. Or if you think you can figure out somebody else's life for them, you can't. The heart is the filing cabinet for memories too, not the brain. That's what the science is telling us. You know, and when people have heart or brain, not brain transplants, there aren't that many yet. The heart transplant, actually, there are testimonies where people have had a heart transplant, and for instance, a young girl receiving a heart from a person who had been murdered. And when this person that got the heart, everything's working well, but she started having dreams and visions of murder. And she would share that, and ended up sharing this with the police. She was able to describe the murder. She was able to describe the situation and the person who did it, who ended up being prosecuted and what do you call it, when they're found guilty, because the memory was not in her brain, but it was in the heart of the person. Our hearts are really critical. Our thoughts and emotions can make us sick. Our thoughts and emotions can make us well. We know that. In only a few minutes, you can get to that place. That I keep going back to this, right? Your heart frequency to 0.1 hertz is the optimum resting place to release. I keep coming back to that because it is possible for us to live without fear, without panic, we can live in release from a place of strength. And the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. And if we ever been in a time ever in society where we're needing to release compassion and love, this is it. So I can't see you all because I'm on this silly share screen, but let's take a few minutes to learn this most powerful activation. Are you game? Should I stop here and see everybody?
Woo-hoo!
Okay, thank you. That sounded like Kim. All right.
It is. I'm over here doing happy dance the whole time.
Okay.
I said I was here doing a happy dance on my side.
I think I like it.
You want to exit your share screen?
Here I am.
Okay, there you are.
There I am. Yeah. But I want us all to do this together. So I have to go back.
Okay, well, I'll take you off of. Do you want? Okay, I see what you're doing.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay. So let's just quiet ourselves and take a few minutes to learn. This is the most powerful activation that you can do. This is your gift for yourself to learn. Get in a comfortable place, and you can rest anywhere. This is something you can do at a bus stop or in a classroom or anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. One, we're going to create a heart focus. Allow your awareness to move from your mind to the area of your heart. And however you are comfortable, touch the area of your heart. Okay? So when you do this, and just do it however you're comfortable doing it. Shut your eyes. Sometimes that will take your awareness to move your mind in, and just think of the place in your heart. Touch the area. When you do that, it sends a signal to your heart that a shift is taking place and you are no longer engaging with the world around you, and you're becoming aware with the world within you. Just take a few minutes just to do that. Just comfortably touch that area of your heart. Now begin to breathe slowly and with purpose. Take 5-6 second inhale, 5 or 6 seconds exhale. And just keep doing that. In, out. And stay there until you relax and it becomes rhythmic and peaceful. So this isn't something you can just rush through, but this isn't something you will take long at either. Deep, slow breathing signals the body that it's safe. It's in a place to support the process, and this stimulates the response of the nervous system to create the relaxation response. This simple breathing, just keep breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. Find your rhythm. It doesn't have to be 5 or 6 seconds. It can be whatever it is you're comfortable with. Become to that place. You're touching your heart, and now you're just breathing and relaxing. It becomes rhythmic and peaceful. The third step to this is to deliberately create a sincere feeling of care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion for anyone or anything. And as you're breathing, keep breathing in and out, but now you're going to go to that place where you can feel the gratitude or compassion. It doesn't have to be for a person. It can be even a situation. It can be a time where you remember maybe the birth of a baby, a new puppy, standing your wedding day, standing on a beach, just free and relaxing. Just feel that and express within that gratitude. Find the compassion. And the key is the feeling must be as sincere and heartfelt as possible. The quality of this feeling fine-tunes and optimizes the coherence between your heart and your brain. Everyone's capable of evoking a feeling, but you may have to experiment with the one that feels and works the best for you. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to ask you to come back out of that. That was simple, wasn't it? That was a simple calm down, relax, touch your heart, start breathing rhythmically, and allow yourself to have that feeling of compassion and gratitude, finding that. The challenge for that, very, very, very simple thing. The challenge is to find that place of compassion, to find that place where you're not just sympathizing with something and empathy, because those are different feelings. And I'm going to tell you a little story that I use to share about the difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Because with sympathy, we can feel pity and sorrow. We have that identification. With empathy, you identify or you understand the feeling of another. But compassion and love is that deep awareness and desire to help. And I tell the story about a subway ride. And there's a man on the subway. He has 4 children with him, and those children are out of control. They are running up and down the car. It's late at night, and there's another man on the car, and he is more than frustrated at the fact that this man is not controlling his children, and these children are loud. He's had a long day, and he is pretty mad. He's pretty mad. And he goes to the man and the father of the children, and he says, "Sir, are you not aware of what your children are doing? They are a great disturbance." And the man in a daze looks up at that man talking to him, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You see, my wife just died. We've left the hospital, we're going home, and I don't know what I'm going to do." Now, in that story, there's sympathy, empathy, but that man was brought to compassion, a deep awareness. And from being angry, you come to that place of the reality and desire to help another. Those are the kind of emotions that we're looking for in this heart-brain coherence. Bring yourself into that deep awareness and love to help or for another. When we choose to feel the coherence in our body, our inner and outer world changes. And science, as we've seen, is documenting this. Deal with your thoughts and emotions. Some of you may have started the breathing and thinking and went into monkey brain. You could not think of another thought. Heavenly days, things are going on around you. I got better things to think about. And what about? It's hard to get your brain and your thinking into line, but it's not impossible. When something comes into your heart or mind at that time, sometimes just keep a pad next to you and just write it down, because it becomes a shopping list. Or you're thinking, I have to do this, or I'm mad at that. Just write it down. You'll find that you'll stop doing that when you let it go. Don't judge whatever comes into your mind, but if there's things in it that come in, what I do, especially if in that time, if I have this memory of somebody I'm frustrated with or something that's happened, what I do is I speak out a long blessing at that time, and it has no landing place in me. If I have something in my mind and a person that's hurt me, I will bless them. I will speak out the Aaronic blessing over them, and I'll say it out loud. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and grant you his shalom, his peace. And things start to dissipate. We need to deal with our thoughts and our emotions immediately, so that can bring us in to that place. This is a little bit of work, isn't it? The effect of this coherence continues to operate many hours after you engage in it. Doing that small thing, the setting your heart or place at peace, at rest, touching your heart, breathing, and allowing your thinking to come into that place of love, actually starts all those things that I challenged you with. Your hormone, it aligns your heart and your brain is created to release healing, to release wholeness, to release everything that your body needs. You are created to be a healing machine for yourself. to regulate your own being. And this very small exercise, when you engage in it, actually triggers all of that. In summary, our conscious thoughts and our feelings from our hearts are the strongest generator of electromagnetic fields in the body. If we change to operate from our hearts, we literally change the stuff that we and our world is made of. Our thoughts and feelings from the human heart is created to be a generator of power to create. If you hold something in your heart, your intent will create it in the physical world. Your intent can make you omnipresent, thinking and feeling as though it's already answered. When the situation comes from your heart, it has the power to materialize. This will require practice, intent, and lifestyle lived from the inside out. I have it in a nutshell, and actually I'll take a snapshot of that, and I'll send it to Kim, or if anyone wants to have that. The touch, breathe, and remember. You are the technology, and I really want to encourage you to do this very, very small exercise, this very small, take the time in 6 minutes. This doesn't have to, like 5-6 minutes at a time. This heart-brain coherence can change you and your world from the inside out. And I love it because it's something that we know. It is that place beside the still waters. It's that place in the Lord's heart. It's that place in our ascension where we can go up higher, more, and deeper. And it has actually a scientific measure behind it. It can change your life. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. I'm going to stop right there. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me in this one. I haven't seen you, so I feel like I've been in this vacuum. And I'm looking at the time, and it's been a long time. But thank you. Are people still?
Oh my gosh, Helen, that was beautiful. That was just amazing. Amazing. Wow. I know everybody's been on mute, and yet in the chat, I know you couldn't see Helen, but in the chat, all kinds of glory was happening. Matter of fact, at one point, I think my mom had gold on her hands. She may still have gold on her hands.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
I love it. I just love it. And I think one of my favorite, I mean, there was so much, and I'm going to open it up, everybody, so that everyone can participate, and if you have questions or you have something you want to share or whatever. But that is one of the things that I think has just drawn me so much to you, Helen, over these last several years, knowing you, is that heart position of, I don't want to just talk about stuff. I want to become the manifest of it, of our Father's glory. And that is so, I know that's my heart, and I know that is everyone on this call, on this, that is our heart, is to become. And what a question, how? Rather than reading more books and doing all the, all the things, what a simple little question. Lord, how do I do that? What does that look like?
Right.
How does that manifest? Just, oh my gosh, Helen, so incredible.
Well, I see that.
Thank you.
I just saw in the chat, there's other people that have gold on their hands too. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh. Gold all over the place. I wonder if I have gold on my hands. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna by faith say it's here.
You muted?
Oh my gracious.
I think I'm
Well, so what I would like for anyone, if you're on your iPad, your laptop or anything, you have reactions at the bottom, or a thing you can put your hand up in the chat, and that'll let me know that you have something you want to say, or you can just wave at me like this, and I will give you the floor to add your piece in. But oh my gosh, that was so good, Helen. So who would like to ask or say or share? Or Dad, you're waving at me, so go ahead.
Oh, I just want to make a real short statement. Melvin and I came into the Lord, that charismatic movement that you're talking about. And the first book I picked up and read was Late Great Planet Earth. And so I know exactly what you're talking about. That meant everything. That started my whole walk with the Lord after I read that, just like what you were sharing. So very powerful.
Yes.
Thank you. That was so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I do have to say, from a testimonial, my sister and I, of course, grew up in a household where miracles, signs, and wonders have been part of legs. I mean, just things like what you were sharing. It felt so like that is our portion. Everything you're talking about, that is who we are. That is just who we are. Anyway, okay, I'll be quiet because I know there's others. Go ahead. Who else? Rebecca, did I see you waving at me? No, okay. But I do see Lana's hand. Go ahead, Lana.
Oh, Helen, that was awesome. I can't wait to go back, because just when you said come back, I was just about to go to a new place where I've never been before. So I'm very excited for the very next time. But I had gold on my hands, and there was something that just hit at a different level today, and it was incredible. That was so awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that.
That's awesome, Lana. Can I see it?
Can you see what? Oh, well, yeah, it's there. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it.
There's a glowy thing happening. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I see it. I definitely see it.
Oh.
Anyways.
Now, there's Melva. She's got her hands up too.
Go ahead, Mom.
That's funny. No.
Oh, she's got her hands up with
the gold. Yeah.
One more question, because your dad kind of faded in and out when he was talking about the book. What book was he referencing?
The Late Great Planet Earth that Helen
Oh, it was the exact. Okay, I wanted to just confirm that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Like Helen, that was the first book that I picked up and read back in years ago like that. And that really was the kickoff of running with the Lord and not stopping. So, and that's interesting. I just thought it was interesting.
That's funny. Well,
yes. Go ahead.
No, I just really, if anyone has any questions about this, I just really want to encourage you. This very, very small, short activation has amazing results, amazing reward, and it actually does change you from the inside out. It energizes, it helps you, and makes you more aware of things. If you are learning something, it enhances your learning. It will actually shock you. And sometimes we're looking for the difficult things in life, thinking that if they're not difficult, hard, long, or expensive, they don't have any value. But here's the Heart Math Institute that scientifically is showing us that this just breathing and setting our heart and our mental focus to love, this is science telling us this, I mean, God's in the middle of it, is
Right.
is a key. And next week, we are going to take that. I really hope if you come back next week, you will have spent 7 days, at least once a day. I don't get out of bed and I don't go to sleep without doing heart-brain coherence. And in the middle of that, of the day, I'll often set myself in a meditation on the word or wherever the Lord leads me. I'll always start with the heart brain and bring my being into that centering into my heart of love.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not,
so good.
so I just
That is so good.
everybody.
Sorry about that. I think my computer's on delay a little bit. Angela, you have your hand up, and then Tavita, you have your hand up. So we'll start with you, Angela.
Well, first of all, Helen, that was so incredible. I mean, absolutely stunning. I'm blown away on multiple levels. One of the things that I find fascinating is that we intuitively know how to do this if we would just stop and let it happen. Okay. You know, because you're saying a lot of things that it's like if one would just start doing that, you start learning the very things that you're saying, even though you don't know the language to explain it to anybody. So that's fun. But I wanted to ask you because for me, I feel like it is like my biggest fight all day long that is my focal point all day, is to hit that place as, often as I can remember. And for sure in the morning and at bedtime, I land in it. But do you ever ebb and flow out of the struggle to find that place? And do you feel like or is it just natural for you to absolutely hit it spot on every day? Because I feel like I'm caught in a lot of struggle that I'm not quite understanding internally right now.
Well, what I would like to say is I have reached this level of perfection that my feet don't even touch the earth anymore. I glide along and everything is absolutely dreamy and exceptional. In my diaphanous gown, of course, that has no spot or wrinkle. However, we live in a crazy world and there's things coming at us all the time. What I have found is that being faithful to this little activation and setting my understanding and my mind to the reality of what goes in, that even though it's a small little thing, it actually does have great impact on me. So I keep pulling my mind back there and saying, this is worth it. This is worth the effort. This is worth the time, which isn't a lot of time or effort, by the way. It just is. And because I've been doing that regularly and more, it has settled something in me that fear can't get a hold of me like it used to. And is that perfect all the time? No, but I love the fact that I have a wonderful place to go to because when you feel love, the Lord is there. It's just like pieces just drop in, the penny drops and it helps. But it has doing this has a lasting effect. The Heart Math Institute says that it lasts for like up to 6 or more hours after you do it. That 5 or 6 minutes that you take to establish your heart in Him. And I use spiritual language to it because I like the science of it, but the reality for me is it's all in Him. It's all that I'm doing. So that's where my mind goes, is into Him. And it just brings you into a very sweet sense of Him in the middle of chaos. And I can be honest to say, I do not have fear like has come at me before. When it comes, it doesn't land. It doesn't have a landing place.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time I walk around 6 feet off the ground, just floating around perfectly.
I love it. Well, and you know what I also love, if I can add in here,
Thank you.
what you described also takes us into that place of intimacy and a relationship with the Lord. Whereas any other activity of trying to expand, you know, you talked about even the heart, your heart perimeter, and being able to expand that. If we're doing that just from a place of, let me see how far I can push this, but without intimacy and connection with the Lord, then it's just really activity of effort,
Yeah.
or on an informational level rather than on an intimacy level. And I think that was what part of what I thought was so beautiful in what you were sharing, Helen.
You know, the other thing is we often say, I'll carry you in my heart, or you're in my heart. Since I started this particular activation, when I say that, it becomes more and more true, and a greater capacity to hold others and situations in my heart that I didn't have before. I would say the words, but they were more religious. Now they're my life, and I can truly say, Kim, I hold you in my heart, and it's my heart of love. Like, it just is. It just is. Yeah.
And it's cozy here. I love it. Back at you. All right, Tavita, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Hey, these are the type of teachings that makes me just really appreciative of the way that God dialogues with me, because he literally took me through a lesson yesterday, because I invited him into the house like I always do. And all he did was just say, I'm breathing into you, just receive my breath. And I was like, well, okay. So I just took deep breaths, just letting that happen. And then I noticed that my heart started to beat really, really fast. And it felt like it was expanding, but it was actually uncomfortable. Like, I need to stop breathing so deeply, because this is like, it was like making my whole body become like an energetic something. And then it was interesting because God started to rub my legs and my feet and all these different things. And you were making little comments here and there that actually was reflecting what the Father said yesterday, like wild ride. You made a reference to an exciting wild ride in the very beginning. And when you said that, that caught my attention. And there was a few other things. You started talking about countries and going into other countries and becoming, just bringing the kingdom into that land. And no joke, you guys, I literally just got a invitation for a job in Afghanistan. And I was asking the Father, like, I'm really excited. I really want to do this. I really want to do this. But if this is you, Lord, I'll go. This is a whole nother country, a whole nother land. I really want to go. And then when you started talking about bringing the kingdom into a new land, bringing the word into a new land, I said, that's it. That's it. It's time to go. It's time to go. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited with how God deals with us individually in our relationships, and just allowing him to just expand and grow us and push us and just be. And then the opportunities literally come to us. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to go look for this job. I just put my resume out there and it's, hey, oh, we noticed this. Can you come do da 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 da? And I'm like, that was easy. Normally I'm having to work hard for stuff. And I just had to let the Father breathe into me. Just that easy. Let him expand the heart, let him sit there, let him be there. And the opportunity just came to me. Yeah. Thank you for the confirmation. Thank you for that.
Well, you know what?
oh my gosh.
Thank you for sharing that. That's pretty outside the box, and it, like, really crazy, wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to say that a friend of mine who is on this call was totally impacted by you in the same way during your I'm setting you up, Lana, during your sharing a few weeks ago, that you just made a simple comment, just the sort of thing that happened here, and it just shifted her. Lana, you need to tell the story. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
This has got nothing to do with my teaching, but everything to do with yours. It was so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other week when you spoke before Christmas, it was so exciting, and I should have shared that day, but it kind of really hit me after. I didn't realize that as you were sharing about just being and standing in your, like standing in who you were, that was exactly what I was doing personally in my place of work, because there had been like one of our, I think it's whatever, long story short, COVID had hit. And I was just standing with my team, with others that we had intended, that like this wasn't going to affect our residents. This wasn't going to affect our staff, where we were going to lose residents and lose like, and anyways, so it was just, I was just being, I was just standing, able to stand in who I was and not run away, which is my tendency to just kind of run from one job to another when things start to get heated up. So it was huge. It was just massive. And I realized that, anyways, it was so exciting to be part of that. And it just, my life expanded from that moment on, because I just realized that through what you were sharing and everything else, that was exactly what I was doing in my own personal life. And he just showed me, like, so just stand in who you are. And it has been such a treasure. Anyway.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
So
And that
much
is the hardest thing for people to do too, because it's a lot of us don't know how to be, because we're looking for a formula instead of just engaging the heart space and relationship, like she was saying. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Lana, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That is so beautiful. Wow. Look at the, I mean, do you guys, are you seeing how the Lord is just weaving the life of each person's walk with him and intimacy with him, and those little places of where we are with him, and how they just multiplication is magnificent. All right, who else has something you want to add or share or ask or any of that? And just wave at me. There are 2 pages, so I'm going to try to go back and forth between the pages of everybody. So if I don't see you. Oh my word. Helen, I do have a question though. Your books that you wrote, I don't know if anybody, when she put the slide up of the books, I purchased all 3. She had them at the conference, and I'm like grabbing them and hiding until I can buy them, because I didn't want her to go sell out. Can people buy the books that you've written on Amazon, or how?
Yeah, they're not on Amazon anymore. They ran out. We have them, and people can, I'll put it on the chat where they can get them.
Okay, now we do have a question. Ruth has asked it. Can you put the last 2 PowerPoint slides up again quickly, or even talk about them next week? The last 2 slides that you did. Is it easy to access those?
Yeah. Oh, did you like, so the people, just a minute here.
Yeah, so that everybody can see it, or you know what I may need to.
I'm just okay. For some reason, this is going to Laura privately. Anyway, I'll get that to you. I'm trying to put something in the group chat. Now I'm going to go back to the, okay, what do we need?
The last 2 PowerPoint slides.
Okay. The Heart Math Institute, that one?
So I think so. Is that the one, Ruth?
Or do you want
on?
coherence?
And yeah, and also the very last one with the lovely words about power and is it the dove?
All right.
Thank you so much.
When the power of love overcomes the love of power, then the world will have no
Yes.
peace. I guess you
Yeah,
can't,
and I think
right? So I will go and look to share screen. Ah, there we go. Can you see that?
yes, thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
there you go.
thank
And the one, did you want the one before? Did,
yes, please. Was that the last one? Yeah, I think there was one before. Yes, that one. Thank you.
okay.
Oh.
Thank you so much. It was just amazing.
All
God
right.
bless you heaps.
You're amazing, Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Helen, do you have a place where anybody can reach or access your teachings? More goodness that you've got. Do you have them available anywhere?
I actually don't.
No.
I was on,
Maybe we'll have to have her on Heart of the Bride and share.
yeah, I keep getting prompted to do that. And I do have a website that I underuse because we've only been using it for hosting conferences and putting information on there. But yeah, thank you for asking and making me feel bad. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, I just love you so much. I wish I could just hug you. All right. Well, you all, this has been so incredible. What a blessing. I know for all of you that this is your first time with us. At Heart of the Bride on Wednesday nights, we have, I should have said this in the beginning, please forgive me, but the Lord really gave us a mandate to just open the door for sons, mature sons and daughters of God, of Yahweh, to share their piece of the puzzle and to make it available for everybody, not to charge and all that kind of stuff, because nobody's going to get left behind. We're all moving into maturity together. And it's exactly what Helen was sharing tonight, that as we expand and grow and really truly allow our hearts to expand, realizing we are one with one another, then it changes everything. And so on our Wednesday nights roundtables, we've invited various ones to come and just share, and then each of us opening it up for us to have a discussion and to have sharing questions, answers, dialogue, all of those kinds of things where all of us are bringing our part. And the heart of our Wednesday nights is to anything that comes in and is sown on Wednesday nights goes to the guest speaker. And so anything that you all trade and sow into Heart of the Bride tonight and next Wednesday, we will be sowing that into Helen, because she is good ground, and she is worth every penny and then some, multiplied by 1,000,000. And so we will be doing that, trading that into her. So anything you all share, trade, and sow, give tonight through Heart of the Bride, that will be sown directly to her. So I did put in the chat the link where you can go and you can do any trading, sewing there, and then next Wednesday we'll be doing the same thing. So if anybody else has anything you want to add or say or question, now's the time. It is so good to see you guys. Some of you not seen in a while. Good to see us. And Mr. Stone, it is so good to see you. Tell Maggie I said hello, and have you guys with us tonight. So we will be back here next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And for any of you that would like to join us on Sunday mornings, we have our gathering Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. You are welcome to join us. And other than that, we will see you next week. It has truly been a delight. Helen, tonight was phenomenal. Thank you so much. Such life, rich life. So anyway, you guys have a great evening, and we will see you soon.
Amazing.
Take care.
Bye, guys. Mwah. All my love.
Hi, this is Kimberly Whitman, the founder of Heart of the Bride Ministries. If this video has blessed you, I want to personally invite you to trade into Heart of the Bride and partner with us to become an essential part of what God is doing through Heart of the Bride Ministries. Your support enables us to continue to reach people all over the world, and we're seeing people from every corner of the globe coming into the realization of their oneness in Christ. We passionately want to see every person living from this reality of oneness in and with I am. He is truly transforming all of creation according to Father's desire and design. And to find out more about Heart of the Bride, go to www.heartofthebride.net. For I, says the Lord, will be a wall of fire all around her, and I will be the glory in her midst.